What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be mixing the beat we made on our last video. I did some couple changes to the beat. I changed up all the patterns, actually, like the snare, the kick, the hi-hats, the open hat, and the vox. I think I left it the same pretty much. I just arranged the beat more kind of how I'm gonna want it for I can start writing lyrics to it. So I'm gonna play it for you guys. I'm just gonna play it from here to here, and I'll let you guys hear how it sounds now. So and that's pretty much it right there. It just keeps repeating itself. And then for the hook, I just subtracted some instruments, added some, and same thing here, and then enter. So it's just gonna be 2 verses. It's not gonna be a long song in general. It's probably gonna it's about three minutes, so like a normal song. So what we're gonna start doing is mixing it, and before we do any compression EQ, what I want to do is level everything. So make sure everything is leveled right. So with that, I'm gonna start with the piano. I'm just gonna bring up the mixer, and I'm just gonna play it. So with that, for me, it seems a little bit too loud. I kind of want to be hitting it around -18. So I'm just gonna grab it. I'm gonna hit this I thing, go to region, and then bring the gain down probably about 3 dB or so, and then we're gonna check it again. So there we go. That's good about there. It's not a huge difference, but it makes a difference. So I'm just gonna delete these, and then just Command R, and it just copies and pastes them over into the next region. So from there, we can move on to the snare. So from here, I'm gonna be aiming around -12 dBs. So I'm just gonna play the snare, and then we'll see where it's hitting. So the snare is hitting about -12. That's exactly where we want it to hit. So we can just move on to the next instrument, which is probably going to be the kick. And for the kick, I kind of want it to hit around in between -6 and 9. So I'm just going to play it and see where we're hitting at. So the kick is also hitting where I wanted to hit, so that we could just keep moving. Hi-hats. Now for me, those hi-hats are a bit too loud, so I just want to bring them down in volume a little bit. So I'm just gonna, instead of moving it through the fader, I kind of just want to move it in through the actual instrument. So I'm just gonna bring it down just a little bit. That's good there. And because there's not a lot of instruments, I'm okay with leaving the hi-hats a bit louder than most songs. Usually I would bring them down a bit more, but for this particular beat, I kind of want the hi-hats to be very present. And for the open hats, we're going to check the open hats, see where they're hitting. I kind of want them to match the hi-hats. So for me, that's too loud. So I'm just going to go in and do the same thing. Just bring it down. Up a little bit more. There we go, that's good there. And then for the vox, I'm gonna do the same thing. It seems a little bit too loud, so I'm just gonna bring it down just a little bit. Probably a little bit more. So that's good there. So now that everything's pretty much leveled, now we can start EQing, we can start compressing and pretty much start mixing. So I'm just gonna add just a simple EQ to the piano, and we're just gonna clear up some of the low end, and we're just gonna start EQing. Probably take out about 100. I'll bring this back. So that's good there. I just kind of want to take out some of the lows and some of the highs, and then from there what we could do is we could add ozone elements, the neutron. And what I like about this, because it's AI, and if you put track assist, it helps you EQ as well as compress. Now I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna bypass to see if we could hear a big difference. If not, I'll leave it. If there is, and I don't like the difference, I'll just take it off. So that's good there. Probably just bring the threshold just a little bit up. There we go. That's good there. I don't want to do too much to the actual, like the sample we're using. I like to EQ before compressing. Some people compress before EQ. It's all up to you. Now let's get started. So first thing I noticed is that I want to get rid of this unwanted stuff. Probably about 200 or so, and I'm probably going to use about this slope 18. Just probably bring out a little bit more. Probably duck it in the 400 just a little bit, make it narrow, just take out that air. There you go. Now just boosted up the highs about 2 dBs, just to take out more of the highness out of the snare. I'm not going to compress just yet. I'm just EQing all the instruments. The kick is already EQ'd. I kind of did that before to make it sound good with the overdrive, and all I really did was just take out some of the lows, bumped up the highs here, and then I'm actually going to take that one off, bring this back. There we go. So that's pretty much the kick. I'm gonna compress it after. So then from there we can move on to the hi-hats, and I'm just gonna do the same thing, just EQ. And I'm just gonna take out all this unwanted low end, because I don't want it to bunch up with the vocals as well as with the other instruments, just create a lot of muddiness. For some reason, when it comes to hi-hats, I kind of like taking off some of the high, just a little bit, not too much. So we're going to go with open hat and EQ also. I'm just going to take out all of this low also. There we go. And then for the Vox, I'm going to just do the same thing. Just EQ it. There we go. So now that everything's pretty much EQ'd, what I want to do is start compressing. And because I added the neutron elements to this, it kind of compresses it a little bit. But just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to compress it probably just with a 2:1 ratio, just to make sure it's getting some of the peaks off. And for that, I'm just going to use the regular H1 compressor from Waves. And I'm just going to do a ratio 2:1. There we go. I'm not going to mess with the attack or the release, and I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. There we go. And then for the snare's already kind of compressed because it comes with the compressor. There we go. I'm not going to mess with it too much. I'm just going to bring down the volume just a little bit, probably about 2 dB. I don't want it to be too loud. There we go, that's good there. And for the kick, since we already have the EQ and the overdrive on it, I just want to do a simple, we could EQ it just a little bit more. And for that, I'm going to use the tube EQ. I'm just going to leave it at 60. And I'm just going to bump up the low a little bit, probably about 3. There we go, that's good there. Now we can compress, and for that I'll just probably use the H compressor from Waves, and do a 3:1 ratio, probably add some punch, leave the kick and the release the same, and just move the threshold up. There we go. So now that that's compressed, we can move on to the hi-hats. And for the hi-hats, I'm not going to compress them. What I did to the hi-hats, I'm pretty sure I humanized them, if I'm not mistaken. But I changed up the pattern. So I'm just going to do that again. And then I humanized the hi-hats. So just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to rehumanize them all. Let's go to functions, humanize, select and operate. Okay, so for me, the hi-hats, I don't see the point to compressing it, so I just EQ'd it, and then I'm just going to add tremolo to it. So for that, we just go to modulation, tremolo, and I like using this on the hi-hats just to give it variation and give it like width to the hi-hats. So if I play this, you're just going to be hearing the hi-hats go left and right. If you have headphones or speakers, you're really going to be able to hear this. I'm going to leave it at 100 for you guys to hear what it does, and I'm just going to bring it back. So there we go. I'm probably leaving it about 18, and then we're just going to hear it. Feel like they're clashing here. There we go. I had an extra note. There we go. Add an extra hi-hat note, and then we could do an open hat. And for the open hat, I'm just gonna leave the same. I'm not gonna do anything. For the Vox, I'll probably add like a spreader, just to spread it and open it up just a little bit more. Nothing too serious. I'm gonna do the stereo spreader. So for this, I'm just gonna bring this probably to 0, add that to 0, and then just bring this down. So I want the frequencies from probably about 500 just to spread. I bring this down a little bit more. There we go. And then the hi-hats, I'm gonna take off some of that tremolo. I feel like it's too much. There we go. Let's make sure there's no extra. Okay, there we go. So now that everything's pretty much leveled, EQ'd, and the kick, the snare, and then the main loop is compressed, I'm not gonna compress any other instrument. I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna add any reverb until I mix the vocals. This is all I want to do, is just kind of mix the beat a little bit, just level everything, get it right. So if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.